Hello and welcome to my vlog. Today I am going to share my thoughts, insights, and learnings about the book Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. Let me start it off with a little background about Mr. Gladwell. Malcolm Gladwell is a Canadian journalist and writer best known for his unique perspective on popular culture. He adeptly threaded the boundary between popularizer and intellectual. He is the author of the 5 New York bestseller books, which are The Tipping Point, Blink, What the Dog Saw, David and Goliath, and Outliers, which I will discuss later on this video. Outliers, The Story of Success is the third non-fiction book written by Malcolm Gladwell, which was published by Little Brown and Company on November 18, 2008. This book tells us about a wider and deeper understanding about success. Mr. Gladwell argued in this book about the thought that we usually look at a successful person on what he or she is like, not taking into account where did he or she came from, who are the people he or she interacted with, and in what kind of environment did he or she live to become a successful person. This book tells us to see beyond on what really makes a successful person. Before we move on, let me tell you about the definitions of outliers based on Merriam-Webster. A person whose residence and place of business are at a distance. Something such as geologic feature that is situated away from or classed differently from a main or related body. A statistical observation that is marked differently in value from the others of the sample. Now let us go through with the discussion. The first story mentioned in the book was about the Rosettans. Stuart Wolf, a physician, examined the factors on why do the Rosetan people rarely have heart disease and other severe diseases. He was amazed on the medical records of the Rosetans, which showed that most of them died not because of severe disease but because of aging. He then found out that it was because they are living their life on their own, not minding the pressure brought by the changing world. The Rosetans are indeed outliers. Gladwell also discussed the Matthew effect, which means that those people who have advantage in being successful becomes even more successful, and those who haven't tends to lose the opportunity to become successful. This made me remember a line that most Filipinos used to say, "Ang taong mayaman ay lalo pang yumayaman at ang taong mahirap ay lalo pang naghihirap." Gladwell also emphasized different factors that serve as an opportunity for people to become successful, and these are birth date, the 10,000-hour rule, the environment, and the cultural legacy. In Birth Date, he discussed the great effect of having a birthday cut-off in Canadian hockey. He also emphasized that most of the successful persons mentioned in the book were born in years ranging from 1953 to 1955. Bill Gates became successful because he grew up in the time when the personal computer is rising, thus giving him more opportunities to think and create new software. The 10,000-hour rule, which talks about working hard or spending more time on things you love doing. Mr. Gladwell gave 2 famous examples, and these are the Beatles and Bill Gates. The Beatles, John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr have known each other for too long, even before they got in USA. They also had the opportunity to perform an estimated 1,200 times in Hamburg before they got successful in 1964. Just imagine all of the time and hard work they spent before being successful. We cannot also deny the fact that them being invited at Hamburg became a great opportunity to practice their talent and skills and become a successful artist they are until now. Another one was Bill Gates. He said that he was obsessed with computers, that he even spent most of his time with it. Bill Gates was given 9 opportunities as to what Mr. Gladwell mentioned in his book, and these opportunities enabled him to spend more time on computer and practice more of his skills on programming or making a new software. This taught me that we must acknowledge our own talent and skills, practice, and practice until we got the best out of it, and do not stop trying even though you feel like failing, because all of these are part of becoming successful in the future. Another factor is about the environment, wherein Mr. Gladwell mentioned in his book about the two geniuses who have different social class. These are Robert Oppenheimer and Christopher Langan. Oppenheimer was raised in a wealthy and educated family, while Langan was raised in a poor and broken family. Both of them has high IQ. Oppenheimer was given more opportunity for education, while Langan was limited to those, especially when that time that he lost his scholarship. This clearly states the big difference between the upper and the lower class, the rich and the poor. If ever Langan was wealthy enough, maybe he would get the proper education he needed to enhance his skills, and maybe his intelligence will not go to waste, just like now in our generation. Many of us students dreamt to study at a prestigious school or university, but unfortunately, those who are rich have a higher opportunity, while the poor ones will have to work hard and apply for different scholarship programs, and there are little chance to be accepted, especially when you are not genius enough to pass those scholarship examinations. Now let us move on to the inspiring story of Joe Flum. Mr. Gladwell mentioned 3 lessons of Flum. Lesson number 1, the importance of being Jewish, wherein the 10,000-hour rule, which was mentioned on the previous chapter, plays an important role in the success of Flum. During Flum's generation, large firms were focused more on taxes or securities. They do not handle hostile takeovers and let Jewish handle the work. This became an opportunity for Jewish to spend more time on handling cases until they mastered it more than the large firms do. Lesson number 2, demographic luck, wherein again it mentions the great effect of birth date in shaping one's success. And lastly, lesson number 3, the garment industry and meaningful work, wherein the work of Flum's parents, or the things they do for the living, became one of the factors for his success. He grew up in a hard-working family wherein he learned the beauty of meaningful work. Mr. Gladwell also argued in his book that we tend to not question the cultural norms and just go with the flow. He argued that maybe if we think of the cultural legacies more seriously and look at it at the best way, maybe it could help us to become successful in the future. In the final chapter of the book, Gladwell mentioned a middle school, the Knowledge is Powerful program, also known as KIPP, wherein even though they are not one of the most prestigious schools out there and their students are financially unstable, they became one of the most desirable schools in New York City. It is because they solved the American education system of having too long of a summer break by making long class hours that would make up for those summer breaks. They took America's cultural legacy on education system seriously. That is why they became successful. Mr. Gladwell ends his book by telling his own story. He traced his own success from opportunities, cultural legacies, and good luck. He mentioned about the story of his grandparents up to his mother and how the history gifted them, and at the end, he said that the outliers were not outliers at all. There were same roots of success for different persons as to what he mentioned all throughout the book, and these are the factors that I have mentioned earlier in this video. The birth date, the 10,000-hour rule, the environment, and the cultural legacy. And all of these serve as an opportunity for being successful. Opportunity plays a big role on a person's success, and it is not just the skill or the talent alone. Before I end this video, I just want to share the story of Pusong Kwan, one of the members of 17 whom I stand. While he was in a singing competition, one of his teachers filmed him and uploaded the video of him on social media. An entertainment company saw his video and contacted him privately to cast him and train him to become an idol. Yes, he had the talent and the skills, but with the help of the singing competition and the teacher who uploaded a video of him, He now became one of the members of the K-pop group 17 who is known around the world, and he had also received many awards of his own. Every opportunity matters. Yes, talent and skills are vital in one's success, but we must also consider the people who helped us, the events in our life that shaped us, and every little thing that we usually do not notice that made us what we are right now. This ends my vlog and I hope you learned a lot from this video.